Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibing with Sleazy, the podcast. This is season six, episode one. Yes, the premiere of season six. I'm back. I've taken a long break, probably over 5 months. A lot has happened in life, but I always do a break between seasons to not only refresh myself, but to give the listeners time to catch up on episodes, listen to past episodes, and to just give myself a break. I mean, it's hard doing this, booking, even doing individual episodes. So when I do the solo ones, so it's a lot of hard work, but I love it. It's refreshing, but it's good to take that break. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have season six. I can't believe 5 seasons has already been recorded. I want to thank everybody that has listened to all 5 seasons. I've been still getting downloads while I've been on my break. I've been checking the numbers and I'm seeing all the stats, and it's been great. Cities growing, countries growing. So I can't thank everybody enough for listening, tuning in. Yeah, let's go over some of those stats real quick. Just a couple cool things to share while I was on break. Um, Denmark over in Europe, and then Singapore. They have joined the Vibin' with Sleazy, the podcast listening list as the two newest countries. So that makes it 35 total countries that are listening, tuning in, and downloading Vibin' with Sleazy, the podcast. So I can't thank my world listeners enough. And to have Denmark and Singapore, it's an incredible thing. So I'm very, very happy about that and happy to announce that. I also want to announce a cool fact. I did a stat look at all the cities that are listening to Bible with Sleazy, the podcast, and we are now at 474 cities in the entire world tuning in, listening, and downloading. The top 5 countries right now, or excuse me, top 5 cities right now that are listening worldwide to Vibing with Sleazy. The number one city is Frankfurt, Germany. So shout out to Frankfurt, Germany. Number two is Singapore, Singapore, which is a city in Singapore. London, England is number three. So shout out to London, England. Number four is Melbourne, Australia. And then number five is Maidstone, England. So I want to thank everybody that's tuning in and listening. And I appreciate all the love and support. And it makes me really happy to have these cities listening. And I'm hoping the list grows on. It'd be awesome to reach 500, only 26 more to get to 500. So thank you all. And yeah, so that's something cool to share. I was really excited to see that. It's something I've always enjoyed since I've been a kid. I've always loved the world, geography, international travel. So when I see people outside the United States of America and even outside of Canada listening, it's a really cool thing. So I can't thank everybody enough. So this episode is a solo episode. I usually have guests. I do solo episodes as well. This season will be a mixture of both, like I've done in the past. So I hope you all will be tuning in and listening to all the episodes. I'm actually reaching out to some guests now. I have a guest booked for this weekend and another one for next week. So I'm happy about that. But right now, I want to dive into a few things overall to cover for this episode. So, with it being the premiere, I want to touch on a few things, some exciting things as of late. But let's reflect on the past 4 to 5 months that I've been on break. It might even been longer than that. Life's been good. Been just hustling, grinding. The eBay store took off, so that did really well. I was flipping some items. Been collaborating with my buddy Casey Jones, and we've been eBaying and doing all that. I've done some traveling. Went down to Hendersonville, Tennessee. Shout out to Jim and Christine. Spent a lot of time down there back in October, celebrated my birthday. And then over the past few months, like most of us Americans, the NFL has consumed my life. So I love the NFL, fantasy football, betting, sports, just the whole shebang of covering it and watching it, and it's been an exciting season. There was a couple disappointing factors. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, so the Bengals did not pull it off. We almost did. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson. It right now, just thinking about it, it kind of frustrates me. But we had one of the best stat years ever. I mean, Joe Burrow was the passing leader. Jamar Chase did the triple crown, which only like five players have ever done that. And then, Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks. So to have three of the biggest stat leaders and then have a rusher, Chase Brown, to be 10 yards off the total of 1,000 yards, it's crazy to me. I mean, to have 1,000 yard rusher, to have a quarterback that threw for the most yards in the league, Jamar Chase was just unstoppable this year. Nobody could stop him. And then to have Trey getting all those sacks, it just doesn't make sense. So I blame the owners. I blame the coaching staff on this one because that beginning of the year was just not good. A lot of bad decisions. Defensive coordinator got fired, so I was glad to see that. Um, Zach Taylor, he'll be back again, so I'm hoping he can bring them back to where we've been playing. And then T. Higgins, I mean, he had an amazing year as well. Great wide receiver. So this is a big contract deal. I want T to get signed. I want Jamar to get signed, but everybody knows the Bengals owner is the cheapest in the league. So if he doesn't re-sign them or give an extension to Chase or re-sign Higgins, I mean, why are you even competing? Why do you even own a team? So there's a lot of decisions and questions on that. So I'm hoping once the money talk gets involved, they can all stay together. I know Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T, they're really close. They all three want to stay on the team. T's even said he don't care about the money. He wants to stay with them because he knows they can do something beautiful and have a future. So when you have Joe Burrow throwing to you, I mean, where do you want to go somewhere else? Yeah, you can make more money, but do you want Geno Smith throwing to you or somebody random like that? No, you want Joe Burrow. So Bengals didn't do it, but there's always next season on that. So the other thing I want to cover, overall, it was a very exciting season for stats in general. I wanted to kind of cover that. Like I shared, Joe, Trey, and Jamar were the leaders on that. Kirby Joseph from the Detroit Lions, he was the interception leader for this year, so he won that title. And then Zaire Franklin from the Indianapolis Colts, he was the tackle leader. I mean, to have 173 tackles on a terrible Colts team, that's pretty good. So the Indianapolis Colts were kind of a mess this year, so that was good to see. And then Kirby Joseph, I mean, he plays very physical. He's hard hitting. Some players like Stafford and other people think he's dirty. He's messed up some tight ends' knees, but he's been on fire for the number one Lions of the NFC. So it was good to see a Lion, get in that mix and be a stat leader. I mean, Lions usually in the past couple seasons, Jamal Williams and then Jamar Gibbs, they've had the Russian touchdown leads and have, Gibbs was unbelievable this year with the David Montgomery combo. So Gibbs, broke the touchdown record there for Detroit. So with the Lions, so it was cool to see that. So I want to go over uh, first before I get into the playoffs. I want to break down the playoff bracket. I want to make my predictions, and I kind of want to go over the spreads and all that. But first, our top five passing yard leaders for the NFL this year. Joe Burrow, like I said, at 4,918. He was only 82 away from 5,000. Jared Goff, 4,629 yards, number two. Baker Mayfield, huge season in Tampa with 4,500 yards overall, number three. Geno Smith, 4,320 yards, number four. And then Sam Darnold, the player who's had one of the craziest careers from starting on multiple teams to being a backup and then taking Minnesota to where he's taken them this year. So he rounds it up at number five. Our receiving leaders was Jamar Chase, of course, at 1,708. Justin Jefferson at 1,533. Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie from Jacksonville, 1,282. Drake London, which this is shocking, 1,271 yards for the Atlanta Falcons. You know, they had the quarterback controversy before the season. Now it's Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins is out. So for Drake London to still put up that stat line, and he even got hurt in a couple games this season, um, it's shocking. Amon Ross St. Brown, 1,263 yards, rounded out with the number one Lions. So the Lions, they just were big stat guys this year. The top five rushing leaders, Saquon Barkley, 2005. Um, to kind of talk on that, he was only a little over 100 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's rushing record that's been held on to for over 30 plus years. And it was kind of frustrating not to see him get it. I know with the playoffs, I know when you having to compete the following week, you want to rest, you want to heal up. But after all he did, and and I know it's a team game, it's not an individual game, but I think they should have let him at least attempt and try to get it. But it was good to see him get in the 2,000 range mark. Derrick Henry, 1,921. He took over for Baltimore this year. He's been incredible with Lamar, so he's been a big force. Bijan Robinson, 1,456 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 1,431 yards. And then Jamar Gibbs, like I was talking about, him and David Montgomery were on fire this year till David got that injury. He'll be back for the playoffs. But Gibbs has 1,412 yards. So been a very big year of stats, a lot of scoring. There was some injuries. You know, when you play fantasy football, you learn about the injuries, you learn about the factors. So it was wild to see. But I want to now talk about the NFL playoffs. So the NFL playoffs are going to be starting up this upcoming weekend. The bracket was official as of Monday morning. I'm recording this episode and putting it out on Wednesday, January 8th. So on January 6th, the playoff bracket was released after all the Sunday games played. So that Sunday night game was Minnesota versus Detroit. Detroit kicked Minnesota's ass. It was for the division. So the Lions won the division. They swept the division. So Dan Campbell is unbelievable. I mean, he should be coach of the year. If he doesn't win it, that award don't even mean anything. I mean, the guy has had so many injuries, and for him to lead Detroit to what he has, it's unbelievable. And I think, you know, he got a little flack for, sometimes his coaching style in the past, and he's intense and he gambles and stuff like that. But that's what makes it exciting to watch. He knows when to do it. He's smart, and he's got that team backing him. That team loves him. And when you're a coach, similar to like Mike Tomlin and a few of these other players, coaches, when you know your coach believes in you, and he deeply loves the team, loves the culture, and he wants to make you all better and make you a champion. I mean, you're going to run through a brick wall for the guy. So that's how I've always been too. And when I played sports, it's like when you have a coach that's real motivating, you want to run through a wall for them, and then you have coaches that you know don't bring that support, and sometimes that can bring toxic stuff into the culture. I know that especially happens in the NFL locker room. So Detroit, it's a culture, and it seems like everybody wants to play there if they get the chance or opportunity, especially a lot of these guys they signed after injuries. Um, so let's touch on the AFC. I want to start with the AFC. So this is the teams that made the playoffs: the Buffalo Bills, the Denver Broncos, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Houston Texans, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Kansas City Chiefs got the number one seed in the bye. For the NFC, it was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. You have Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Washington Commanders, the Los Angeles Rams, the Minnesota Vikings, and like I said, the Detroit Lions with the bye and the number one seed for the NFC. So we're going to break down the AFC. I want to get on to the first game. So the first game will be the Buffalo Bills versus the Denver Broncos. So the spread right now is Buffalo by 8.5, and the point total is 46.5 overall for the game. This game, I don't see Denver surviving. Denver's had Bo Nix. He's been great. Him and Cortland Sutton have been on fire. Cortland Sutton, he had a fabulous year, and Bo Nix being the rookie under Sean Payton, he's been great. I mean, he really has. He can run the ball. He can also pass the ball. I mean, they've had some turnovers, and they've had some issues, but you got to give Sean Payton credit. He turned this Denver Bronco team around, and they got some big wins. Now they lost some there towards the end, but that final game against the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs had their backups in and Carson Wentz, I mean Denver just showed a really, really dominant performance. So yeah, could they do something about or against Buffalo? Yeah, I mean overall, but I just see Buffalo with Josh Allen pulling it off. Buffalo, you know, I'm shocked to see how well they've done. Yes, Josh Allen's a freak and he can run and pass and he's a beast, but he had a horrible game versus a terrible, terrible New England team this year. So he's not been he wasn't Joe Burrow this year. So for the talent they had, they got rid of Diggs. They didn't really have a lot of key wide receivers. You have Keon Coleman, you have Shafir, but it's like, who did they really, really have? And so it was a case where I was shocked to see them get that record. But I think, excuse me, their coaching staff, their players, and the culture that Josh Allen's brought up there. A lot of the teammates like him, and I mean he's playing lights out. I mean he also got engaged this year, so I mean I think he's focused, and I think he's hoping for a good opportunity. Do I see him making the Super Bowl? Do I see him making a run? No, no, I do not. I see Buffalo just after seeing the performance against the New England Patriots. I know I'm bringing up a random game from a few weeks ago, but that game really showed just who they really were. I mean, when you see a team play a team and it's tough and it's close, it's not good to see, especially a few weeks before the playoffs. So, but with Buffalo versus Denver, my prediction is Buffalo to win it. Will they cover the spread? Will they go over? I'm not sure. I don't see that being a super high scoring game. I also think weather's going to come into a factor, so we'll see on that one. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh is the next game in the AFC. Now, this game will be a battle. Um, Pittsburgh is very, very defensive heavy this year. I mean, TJ Watt has been unbelievable. I mean, he brings it every season. He's intense. But offensively, it was a shocking season this year. I mean, you have Russell Wilson who didn't even get the start. Yeah, he was dealing with a little injury, but they ended up using Justin Fields from Chicago. Like everybody was talking about this before the year. Who's going to be the starter? Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. So Justin Fields ended up starting 4 games, and then Mike Tomlin said, "Well, let me give Russell a shot now that he's healthy," which I know stirred a lot of controversy between Steelers fans, the office. People were saying, "Well, Justin Fields winning games," but Tomlin said he had a gut feeling about Russ. Now, Russell played a great year. I think he's proved a lot of haters wrong. But I also think he still shows some flaws being older and not as consistent as he used to be like he was in Seattle. But he's definitely a way better situation than he was in Denver. And I think Russell also secured himself, a few more years in the league, being a starter, being in a competitive role for a team. Um, Baltimore, they have been incredible. I mean, Derrick Henry. I mean, King Henry is the best running back in the league besides Saquon Barkley. I mean, the guy is huge. He's hard to take down. He runs hard. He scores, and the guy's focused. I mean, he's on a strict diet. He takes his nutrition serious. He takes life and work serious, and he's just a beast of a player. So, of course, being a Bengals fan, I hate the Steelers. I hate the Ravens. I hate the Browns, but I love seeing Derrick Henry's success. He's a great dude, and followed him when he was with the Tennessee Titans. So I'm glad to see him at a successful team outside of Tennessee and being able to actually play for a playoff or Super Bowl. Um, Baltimore is favored by 9.5, and the over in this game. And when I'm saying all these odds and these overs and unders, again, this is Wednesday, January 8th. Things can change, sports books can change, but this is what's reported as of 1 o'clock on Wednesday, January 8th. So in this game with Lamar Jackson, who's probably going to win MVP again, I mean, the guy is unbelievable. He gets hate because he's not really done anything in the playoffs, but Lamar Jackson is a freak. I mean, he's from Louisville here, played college, Florida kid. He's unbelievable, and he can make it on with his legs. He can make it in the air, and he's a leader. So I think Lamar Jackson and Baltimore blow out Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh has really looked bad towards the end of the season. The Bengals beat the shit out of them. And I've even talked to some of my close Steelers friends, and they're not even a believer. I mean, they're mad about Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's had a bad attitude. I mean, George Pickens, he's had a terrible attitude. He played horrible against Cincy, didn't even have a yard, and he's the top leader. So they got to get on page, the quarterback and the receivers there in Pittsburgh, and then also too with the running game in Pittsburgh, Najee Harris. You know, he's tough. He's a good runner, but I don't feel like he's been the same. And Jalen Warren, same thing. He's great. He can catch a lot of balls in the backfield, but he's just not. The running game in Pittsburgh's always been a struggle. I really, really do not like the offense in Pittsburgh. Not even saying it as a Steeler hater. I just don't. But the defense, it's tough and they're physical. I mean, they bring it every game. So Baltimore will win this though. Lamar and Derrick Henry. I say with the 9.5, I say Baltimore covers by 2 touchdowns. I mean, just the way Steelers are playing. But Mike Tomlin, he's a hell of a coach. So who knows what's up his sleeve, and who knows if we'll see two quarterbacks for Pittsburgh in this game. Okay, the next game is the Houston Texans versus the LA Chargers. Two teams that are just bringing kind of a shock value to the playoff factor. There's a lot of teams that do make it, but Houston Texans, they come out of a very weak division. I was definitely predicting them to make it, but the deal with them is it's like with the way CJ Stroud's played this year, which hasn't been great. They've had a lot of injuries. They lost Tank Dell, which was a gruesome injury, and some of the other stuff they've done. I feel like the Houston Texans are a team that they could pull off a win against LA, but they're not. I just don't see them really competing too much of a run. Just the way they have a great coach, but the way it played out this year for them, it's been tough. Joe Mixon is going to have to carry a lot of the load. Joe Mixon's had a hell of a year for the Houston Texans. He's a great running back. Came from Cincinnati. The Bengals should never have let him go, but like I talked about earlier, Bengals owner, he's a cheap person. So um, Joe Mixon's really revived his career down there in Houston, and I think he's going to probably have another big year next year. So he's really going to have to bring it this week. But the LA Chargers, they have Harbaugh, who came from the University of Michigan. He's a former NFL coach. He's the truth. I mean, he's also a former NFL quarterback, played for the Colts. He has brought a culture. You talking about, like I was saying with Dan Campbell, he's brought a culture to Los Angeles, and it has been absolutely insane. I mean, he has literally brought it so much that it's been incredible. He has changed Justin Herbert. He's got Justin Herbert kind of following some rules, which is funny. Like Justin Herbert loves to give high fives and uh, fist bumps. He's changing that where he doesn't want his hands to get injured, and he also just believes in players. He took J.K. Dobbins, who had a good year this year. He's you know got a rookie wide receiver that's been incredible. Their tight end game's been incredible. So the Los Angeles Chargers have been really fun to watch. Justin Herbert, I feel like he needed Harbaugh. I mean, he needed it. The Chargers organization has always been kind of controversial with their ownership and with some of the things that they have done in the past. So for them to bring Harbaugh in and I think kind of give him some power and reign over the team has been huge. So I see LA being relevant and being competitive in the future. as well, and I think they beat the Houston Texans. But I do think this will be a close game. It's kind of two teams that could definitely make it close. The Los Angeles Chargers are favored by 2.5 points, and the spread or the overall total in this game is 42.5 points. So I do see um, this being a competitive game, but I definitely see the LA Chargers covering that spread. And then you got the Chiefs with the number one seed. The Chiefs have been unbelievable. I mean, only losing two games this season. They lost one in the beginning of the season, and then that Denver game where they didn't even play anybody, they got blown out. Now, that's not great to see, especially, being the Chiefs, even if you don't have your starters in, you don't want to get blown out that bad by Denver and have a complete zero on the scoreboard. So that wasn't great, especially for the playoffs, but I think they're letting their guys get healthy. Patrick Mahomes has had a really down year. And it's crazy to say that with him having two losses. Didn't make the Pro Bowl. I mean, he makes the Pro Bowl every year. So he didn't make it, and he's not been the same. Travis Kelsey, same thing. He's productive. He's unbelievable. That relationship and that combo on the football field is still tougher than ever. But he wasn't even the same as he usually is. And then Pacheco, he's been out with injury. He came back, and then Kareem Hunt's been carrying a lot of the run game. DeAndre Hopkins, though. Another guy like Derrick Henry that got out of Tennessee has been awesome for them. I mean, he has shown he is a veteran in this league. He can still play at a high level, and he's been great. And then Xavier, he's been awesome for him too. Uh, Rookie, he's been catching the ball, running the ball. I mean, you give him the ball, he can take off like freaking Tyreek Hill speed. So he's been unbelievable. So the Chiefs are definitely competitive, and I think the Chiefs are going to definitely make a strong run to get to the Super Bowl, even though they have kind of had the down year on the stat line. But overall, when I look at this AFC playoff scenario, my pick for the Super Bowl from the AFC is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, unless an injury happens, you can't stop that. I mean, you got freaking Mark Andrews, a tight end who can catch anything, who's a physical tight end. Like I said, Derrick Henry, Lamar. I just don't see any issues. And then also Zay Flowers and all these other guys they have. Lamar has been unbelievable. So I think Lamar, he stays focused, he stays healthy. I think they make it to the Super Bowl. So that is my pick for the AFC. I think they beat out the Chiefs, and I think they make it. And I think um, Baltimore, this is the year that they really need to, you know, try to give it their all because with this quarterback running back duo, I mean, it's tough, and it's like if I'm a defense, man, your legs got to be tired playing the Baltimore Ravens this season. So AFC Baltimore Ravens. All right, let's break down the NFC games. You got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles are favored by 4.5 points, and then it's a 45.5 point total overall in the game. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers will be a great game. I mean, Jordan Love did get injured in that game, his last game there of the year. And then, Philadelphia Eagles end up resting their stars. Saquon Barkley didn't even play, could have broke the rushing record. So I think Philly comes out with this with a big win. I think 4.5 is low. I think Philly's been tough, and I don't see anybody stopping Saquon. I mean, Saquon has been running for crazy stats this year, and he's hungry. He's mad. What happened with New York Giants not re-signing him? I don't think um, he's mad or sad he left, but just the way the situation happened. But he's found a great home in Philly. Jalen Hurts, and they've had some issues this year. The coaching staffs have fault. There's been some of the defensive guys acting immature. AJ Brown, there's been issues between him and Jalen Hurts, but the Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, I mean, they're unbelievable wide receivers. So I see Philly winning big. I don't see this Green Bay team, even though they're very, very well coached And I mean, the Green Bay Packers running game has been unbelievable as well. So, yeah, could they make it competitive on offense? Yeah, they could. And they've had some good defensive players playing, and but at the end of the day, I see the Philadelphia Eagles getting this win, and I see the Green Bay Packers probably being a relevant team next year, but that NFC North is very, very tough. I mean, the deal with it is like you got to not only take down the Vikings and the Lions, but the Bears have a very young team, even though they were horrible this year. That whole division is very tough. So, the one thing that's helping the Green Bay Packers is Josh Jacobs, getting him from the Raiders. He's been unbelievable. But their wide receiver range, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, they haven't been huge. And Christian Watson's out. Jordan Love's questionable. I mean, there's just too many injuries and it's too cold. And I don't see the Packers being relevant in this one. So Philly wins big. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Washington Commanders. So Tampa Bay is favored by 3 points, and this is going to be a 50.5 point total over in the game, is what they're saying, the sports book. So I can see Tampa winning big because Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, they have been on fire. Baker has had a huge year offensively, and that guy, even when he's down, he comes back. He's won big games, and I'm a believer in Baker. So, and also too, they have a running game that has been awesome. Bucky Irvin's been great. And, him being a rookie, he's taken off. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're really on fire offensively, and they're a defensive coach team. So that defense is going to bring it as well. The Washington Commanders have been great as well. I mean, it's shocking. They got a new coach, new quarterback, and the deal with, the Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin, he's been unbelievable. I mean, he broke their records for receiving this year, and he's been really great. So it's good to see him finally get somebody that's been great. But overall, Jaden Daniels, he's going to really have to bring it. He's going to have to play good. He's going to have to actually, you know, put up some good numbers and stats and play well as a rookie. I mean, he's had a great year. I've looked at his numbers, they're good, and yeah, they're great. He's definitely a game changer, but they're not as great as everybody's hyped him up to be. So the Commanders are really going to have to bring it. They are going to have to also realize if they did make it past this round, you got Philly dominate them, and then you got these other teams that I just don't see them competing with. So. Will the Commanders make this competitive? Yeah, yeah. I mean, Terry McLaurin, that's your number one guy to make it competitive. I mean, he's definitely going to get in the end zone somehow, and I see him scoring in this game. But Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Tampa, they're hungry, and I can see them winning big. And that team, after what Mike Evans did, tying Jerry Rice's record, they were celebrating, going crazy. It was huge. So Tampa wins that one. The LA Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. So this game is actually going to be pretty exciting. I'm actually really, really excited to watch this one because they got Minnesota only favored by 1.5 and 47.5 total. And I say this game goes over. Matt Stafford, he wants to make a playoff run again with LA. Matt Stafford is playing really good football this season for being an older quarterback. Kyron Williams, he can catch it, run it. He's an unbelievable running back. And then you got Puka and Cooper Cup. I mean, two of some of the best wide receivers in all of NFL football. So the LA Rams will definitely be very competitive, and I can see them bringing a battle. This would actually be my sleeper pick to actually upset a team. I can see them beating Minnesota because Minnesota has had the best season they've had probably the history of the Vikings. But Sam Darnold, he's a great quarterback. He's played MVP type football this year, but what he did against the Lions, it shows that he still has errors and he still makes bad decisions. So I don't see him just throwing touchdown after touchdown. But with Justin Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in my opinion behind Jamar Chase, it, it's pretty tough not to be able to score or do something with. And then also too, Aaron Jones has been huge in the backfield for the Vikings. So and Cam Akers too. I mean, Cam Akers is going to kind of have a revenge game against the Rams where he came from, which he's battled a lot of injuries, but he's been great as a second back. So uh, I say in this game, I'll say it. It's my shocker. I say the Rams win, and I think Minnesota will be relevant again next year, but I think the Rams win. And then the Detroit Lions, number one seed. They're unbelievable. Best team in football, been the best team all season. They've gotten through every hump, every adversity, every injury, and I'll be quick and short with the Detroit Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Detroit Lions, also in my opinion, are going to win the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery's back healthy, and then Aiden Hutchinson, who broke his leg, is now walking again. He could play in the Super Bowl, but that defense branch, it's been unbelievable. But the injuries have been huge. The injuries have definitely been a factor. But with them having a bye, with them having some rest time, and with them playing the way they just played against the Minnesota Vikings in a super physical game, then Kirby Joseph, I mean, interception leader, I don't see how Detroit can't take down the NFC. So I say the Baltimore Ravens are going to play the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl, and I say the Detroit Lions win 31-14. The Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl 31-14. That's my call. That's the Bible with Sleazy official prediction. I'm hoping to see what can happen. Hoping my Bengals can make it next season. I'm already looking forward to that, and already miss fantasy football because it's so much fun. But I'm so excited to watch these playoffs. I'm excited to see the Detroit Lion team, who's never had success, make it and do it. They're kind of my backup team. I always call them my NFC team. So I'm happy for Detroit. I love the city of Detroit. And Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is the year that I think he shuts up a lot of the haters and he makes a run. And I think both teams, you want to win the Super Bowl, of course. Anything's a failure if you lose, but I think both teams making it is just going to prove that these two teams have been the most dominant all season. They really have. So Lions, Baltimore, Lamar versus Goff, Harbaugh, versus Dan Campbell. Let's see. We'll see what happens, and I'm excited. So, everybody, I hope you get to watch the playoffs. I hope your team, if it's in it, gets to win or has a good game. And if you're betting on it, I hope you win your bets, get some parlays going. So, but that's my call, and it's been a great NFL season. Like I said, been very exciting, and I'm already ready for next year and the playoffs haven't even started. So let's go. But the next thing I want to talk about that has got actually announced officially today, which was really cool, and the reason I'm really excited is Bonnaroo. The Bonnaroo lineup got sent out today. It always comes out in January. It's a music festival in June. I've only been once. I went in 2019 and I had an amazing time. Shout out to Jama. Went with my buddy Jama, my buddy Chris, all from Nashville, and we had a great time. Met great people. Bonnaroo is literally the most positive place in the entire world. I'm glad I'm getting to go this year. I bought the ticket in December. Uh, Everybody gets along. Everybody's vibing. Everybody's having fun. It's laid back. The culture's cool. When I went in 2019, I saw my Louisville friends up there too and just met great people and just had a blast. So it's literally a place to get away. It's a place to listen to good music, have a good time with your friends, and you get to meet people from all over the world. And the artists and the acts have always been huge. So something that I wanted to go over was overall talking about the Bonnaroo lineup. And the reason I want to go over that is because, I mean, it's exciting, especially when it comes out today and to see it. So the Bonnaroo lineup for this year, they actually have a lot of wide variety of acts. Overall, on Thursday, it's a 4 day deal. So it's Thursday through Sunday, June 12th through June 15th in Manchester, Tennessee, which is south of Nashville and close to Chattanooga. So Thursday, Luke Combs, Dom Dollar, Sammy Vergi, Marcus King, Green Velvet, Two Hollis, and Insane Clown Posse are your headliners. And then you got Joey Valance and Bray, Daniel Donados, Wild Rado, Max Stizer, Ezeka, The Lemon Twigs, Wisp, Sophia Zella, Kitchen Dwellers, Dogs in a Pile, Die Spits, Hey Nothing, and the Drop Teens. On Friday, the headliners are Tyler the Creator, which I got a crazy story about him. When I did my music video for Getting Shitty back in the day when I was in college, me and my buddy Jama, we tweeted him a shitload and tried to get his attention, and he responded. And we tweeted back and forth and messaged him. He was super cool. So I've always been supportive of Tyler the Creator. He's always a great guy. The way he treated me and Jama, and also the way he treats like people like Nardwar and other people out there. He's just a good dude. So I'm happy to see him have his success. John Summit, Glass Animals, Tipper, Goose, The Rig Clay Strays, Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and Megadeth. The other acts are Wallow, Foster the People, Slightly Stupid, Flip Turn, Of the Trees, JPEG Mafia, Marina, Tate B, MJ Linderman, Boss Man D-Lo, Enzo, Levity, Mannequin Pussy, Leon Thomas, Cult, Ali and AJ, Matt Champion, Detox Unit, Rachel Chernuri, Eater, Ginger Root, Babe Stockwell, and Effin. So that's Friday. And then when you get into Saturday, the headliners Olivia Rodrigo, Avril Lavigne, Justice, Nelly, Glorilla, Mountjoy, RL Crime, uh, Baya Doobie, Tyla, Jesse Murph, and then the other acts Modest Mouse, Gorgon City, Flatland Calvary, Hot Mulligan, Action Bronson, Crank That, Dope Lemon, Gigi Perez, Wave to Earth, Claptone, Jade Cicada, What's So Not, Daddy Fryer, Ziggy Alberts, Rossi, Destroy Boys, the Stews, and then three centers in the Altons, Ahi, plus Remy Wolf's Insanely Fire 1970s Pool Party Super Jam. So that's all on Saturday. It's going to be a big day. And then Sunday, the last day, what the headliners Hosier, Vampire Weekend, Queens of the Stone Age, Lizzie, Remy Wolf, Rave, Royal Otis, Dispatch, Role Model, Barry Can't Swim. Then you got Treaty, Oak Revival, Big Gigantic, Jack's Mannequin, Atlanteans, Bill Murray, Saint Motel, James Arthur, Alex Warren, Zingara, Natasha Bedingfield, Alexander K, Golden Bordier, Grace Bowers, and the Hodgepodge, Gorilla Dat, and then YDG. And then it's also introducing the Infinity Stage, the world's largest 360 spatial audio experience. So that's going to be super cool. Wide range of genre. It's going to be a lot of acts. So you've got the exclusive Bonnaroo lineup drop on the day that Bonnaroo lineup dropped. Everybody's really pumped. So excited to see what happens with that. And then King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are also going to be doing 3 sets in 3 days there, which is another exclusive. Some of these festivals will have a huge lineup and then they'll promote a certain artist or something, somebody doing something special. When I went in 2019, they did that similar with Fish. Fish had a big following, so they did that. But 2019 was unbelievable. Bonnaroo, it's fun to camp out. It's fun to go with your friends, and it's just a good way to escape. And if you haven't been to a music festival, it don't matter. You don't have to be Bonnaroo. Go to a music festival. Music festival is great. 2019 was the year I hit up a bunch of festivals, and it was awesome. And it's just a vibe. I mean, people have a great time, and it's just a place to, like I said, get away. And when you're at a festival like Bonnaroo, there's so much to do. There's so much to see, and you feel safe. I mean, there's so many people, but you feel safe. You feel like everybody's there just to vibe, and you can just feel the Bonnaroo spirit going around. And stuff happens all through the night, which is cool. So it's like at any time you can go hear music, you can go see music, and you're just around just such a super cool community. So that's the Bonnaroo lineup. I hope if you get to go, tickets are still for sale. They do. I don't even know if they're doing their little ticket plan package, but they do have one where you can pay a monthly deal to get your ticket, and they also have a few other packages where they'll sell different passes for that. Um, I have seen the reaction for the festival. The people that I'm going with are very excited. Some people are like, oh, I want more. I'm not excited about the headliners. Of course, you're always going to get 50-50, but I think this is going to be cool. I think this is going to be um, something different, and it's a lot of different genres. There's also some artists I've never even heard of. So it's really cool to see that and get exposed to people that you might not really listen to. And that's why a lot of these streaming sites they'll put playlists together or people will put a playlist together reflecting on the festival and it's kind of cool to also listen to that before you go. But I think the person that I'm super excited to see, two of them, Boss Man D'Lo, that would be a blast. He's just a great rapper, a lot of fun music. And then I think Olivia Rodrigo, I think she'll be amazing. I think she's got a great voice and but overall, I think there's a lot of great acts. So that's Bonnaroo 2025. But overall, other news that's going on, I just wanted to shout out to all my friends in California. I'm praying, I'm sending positive vibes. There's fires in California right now that are horrible. As of today, Wednesday, January 8th, two are dead, 1,000 houses have burned. So this is in the Palisade area out there in California, Los Angeles area. So I've talked to my buddy Buffalo Tone. He's been sending me pictures and content. Annette, my friends out there, a few others. Shout out to the Guidas, shout out to the League of Legends. So a lot of those guys are out there and they're sending me pics and content. So just stay safe. All my friends in California, stay safe and, get your animals out, get to safety, and I just hope there's not more damage, and I really hope they can get this under control. But I definitely wanted to touch on that on this podcast because it just kind of started here in the past couple of days, and it's been absolutely crazy to watch and been sad. Here in Louisville, Kentucky, we actually had a blizzard. I mean, we had a foot of snow almost, close to it, a few inches off, but it's been unbelievable. I mean, snowed in, iced in. It's been that way the past few days. Took me about an hour to shovel it out. Shout out to the fam coming through and helping. But um, overall, it's been crazy weather. I mean, you got fire in California, you got snow coming from Kansas all the way east to us. Cincinnati, other places, Indianapolis, they've gotten a bunch too. So cities were getting shut down. I mean, Sunday, Monday here, it was shut down. So I'm hoping to see some warmer weather coming, so a lot of this ice and snow can go away. It's never fun driving in it, and a lot of these neighborhoods are still kind of stuck with it. So hoping everybody stays safe, gets clear from that, and I'm hoping you get to listen to this episode while you're possibly snowed in or you're possibly dealing with any kind of weather. But what to look forward to in this season, like I said, I'm gonna have some guests. I'll do some solo episodes. This is fun. It's a great way to express myself. It's a great way to meet people, and it's a great thing to do. I'm blessed to be able to do six seasons. I'm blessed to even have one listener. So everybody that does tune in and listen, thank you. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have season six out, and this is the premiere. This is episode one. So I do 21 episodes per season, so there'll be 20 more episodes coming out. I don't have a set schedule, but I try to put out at least one to two each week. So the content's there. And then, like I said, I do a break after a season where you'll get to catch up and listen. And if you want to listen to any past episodes, I'm on all platforms. I mean, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, anything you want to see. I don't do video, I just do audio, but I do have audio videos all over my YouTube of my show. So tune in, listen, download anywhere you do. It supports, it helps me, and it shows love. And like I said, this is a way for you to be able to listen no matter what streaming service you listen to. Again, I want to shout out to my international listeners. I want to shout out to everybody around the world that vibes with me and loves on the show. And I want to thank again everybody that's ever been on the show. I mean, can't do if you all without you all. Yeah, I've done solo episodes in the past few seasons, which are fun and people request. I want to do this because the premiere, but I always love having my guests. I love having my reoccurring guests. So again, thank you for everybody that listens to Vibing with Sleazy, and I appreciate all the love. So um, season six, episode one, visit vibingwithsleazy.com. Listen to all past episodes on all platforms. Spotify and Apple are the main two places. And if you have any questions, love, anything you want to message in, say, just send it in. I'm always listening to the fans. I'm always listening to people, and I want to thank everybody that's bought a T-shirt, bought merchandise, has supported me. Shout out again to Riley at What Makes You Smile Gallery and Gifts. He still has shirts in. We did a an event, and then also shout out to Frankie with the Vibe Tribe. The Vibe Tribe. I sponsored a walk this year, memorial for our lost friend Aaron. Rest in peace to Aaron. And so it was great to be a part of that. And so it was great to have the Vibe Most Sleazy brand there represented. And so I can't thank everybody enough. And Vibe Tribe, I love them. Shout out to them. They're doing big things. And Frankie, he's doing big stuff with that. But again, thank you everybody to listening, tuning, and downloading. I love y'all. Enjoy the playoffs. And episode 2 be coming soon. Peace.